forward task, naming that familiar, unchanged lineup to try to preserve top spot in the league. 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, and 3 up front. A well-oiled system, enhanced by the exploits of Scott Crabb, the club's leading scorer this season, with 15 goals. He's in an amazing seam at the moment, with goals in 6 of the last 8 matches. Aberdeen manager Alex Smith's worries continue. Jim Bett and Theo Tenkat, his creative midfield players, are out through injury, joining men like Stephen Wright, Robert Connor and Peter van de Ven on the sidelines. David Winnie comes in at left back, and Paul Kane wears Bett's number 8. He started his career with Edinburgh rivals Hibs before joining Aberdeen from Oldham in November for £350,000. This is his 7th start for the club, and he's looking for only his 2nd victory. And the referee this afternoon is the vastly experienced Brian McGinley of Balfron, who's handled 7 domestic cup finals and more than 80 matches abroad since becoming a Grade 1 official 20 years ago. Aberdeen shell-shocked by recent poor performances, facing the Hearts team brim full of confidence, and seldom have Hearts got into a match like this. Hotter favourites, but you do have the feeling though that Aberdeen will require to burst back to form at some point. They have so many good players out there, and they've started off with an aggressive formation with Jess and Hillhouse through the middle and Scott Booth on the right flank. There's a hefty challenge right at the start from Brian Irvin. He's being spoken to instantly by referee McGinley. Well, more clumsy, I think, than malicious. John Robertson was the victim. Certainly used to tough treatment, the little Heart striker, and he'll shrug that off quite quickly, I'm sure. But it is a free kick to Hearts with Tosh McKinley over the wall, having just signed a new contract for a month. There's an offside decision now coming from the near side linesman, and Aberdeen have the free kick. So an early touch for Theo Snelders. Aberdeen setting off with Paul Mason on the right of midfield, Brian Grant right in the centre, and Paul Kane on the left. Booth in an advanced position on the right, forcing Tosh McKinley to drop back. I think that's the basic idea, to upset this Hearts tactical formation. So the marking tasks on Jess and Hillhouse, deployed to McLaren and Levine as usual. Dave McPherson spare. Baird getting up early, but Irvin timed it better. Mason couldn't control that on the run. Here's John Miller. Robertson going wide, followed across by McLeish. McKimmie is also there. And Robertson outnumbered in the end. Back though with McPherson, who loves to come striding forward like this in a buzz of anticipation from the Hearts fans. And an error there by the Hearts skipper, trying to find Gary Mackay on the right. Certainly has become very effective, McPherson, coming forward like that. This is Hillhouse. Certainly has a point to prove to the Aberdeen supporters and to his manager. That's a good pass forward. There's Jess. Well, there was space there for the Aberdeen striker. McLaren and McPherson have a discussion about how that space appeared. One straightforward ball through the middle, and there was Ian Jess with a shooting chance. That's one for Jess to chase through the middle. Well stopped by McKinley. Very important interception that by Tosh McKinley. Now there's more work to do, facing Booth. Hillhouse waits in the middle with Jess. Booth has to settle for a throw. It's an aggressive runner on the flank, Scott Booth. Certainly will have Tosh McKinley thinking more of defence than he likes to do. Well, that's great play by Jess. Back it goes for a chance for Booth. Well, the under-21 international striking combination almost pays off for Aberdeen. This was superb play by Ian Jess in particular. Booth taking up a position for the cutback. Didn't quite set himself properly for the shot. It was an excellent opportunity though. Mason helps it on. Booth underneath this with McKinley. Managed to get the ball across. Fine play again from Booth. Cut off by McPherson. lively attack force Aberdeen have produced with Booth and Jess, joined by Hillhouse. Stuart McKimmie also the edge of the penalty area with Irvine and McLeish. McLeish helps it forward, it's headed on and into the net by Hillhouse, but the whistle had already gone for a push by Hillhouse. Well, this corner kick caused problems all right. McLeish playing it in. There's the push by Hillhouse and McPherson. Perfectly clear and well spotted by the referee. And no complaint from the Dutchman. This is Mason. Trying again to find Hillhouse over on the left. He's won it from Levine. Very good positioning there by Henry Smith. Well, lapse in concentration here from Craig Levine, allowing Hillhouse to step in. Smith adjusted his position well and cut down the angle. Well, Levine read that extremely well. He was very quick when he made up his mind to go for that. Ferguson to Crabb. Missed out Miller with a pass, but McKinley follows up. Good back-tracking play by both, but he's been penalised. Illegal use of the arms, I think. McKinley will take the free kick. Bears looking for space. He's come off his marker. Looked away as far as Mackay. Well, an opportunity there for Gary Mackay to open his account for the season. Very good ball played in here by Tosh McKinley. Baird did well, get the merest of touches here. McLeish's clearance wasn't decisive, and there was Mackay. McLeish's header collected there by Mackay. A very heavy tackle there by Kane. Well, he went in high and late there, and Mackay felt the full brunt of that. Well, you can frequently tell by the reaction of the players in the field how they see a tackle, and there was certainly instant anger about that one. Paul Keane is going to be booked, and really doesn't have any complaint. I think McLeish comes across to have a word with the referee, and there is a problem for McLeish, which will end his involvement in the match. Paul Keane has been booked, and Aberdeen are going to make a change. Gary Smith coming on to replace Alec McLeish, who appeared to be struggling after an awkward early landing in the match. You remember an awkward stumble as he went for the ball, and he never fully recovered. Shake of the head there from the Aberdeen skipper. They've been forced to reorganise again. This injury jinx strikes once more. John Miller. Gary Smith. Picked up now by Booth. Away from McKinley, faced now by McPherson. And McPherson kept his eye on the ball, but he had to concede a corner kick. So Aberdeen don't have the attacking aerial power of McLeish available, but Irvine has gone forward with McKimmie. David Winnie also, leaving Grant and Smith at the halfway line. The short option offered by Mason's run. Picked up rather late by the Hearts defenders. In goes Winnie. That's a good effort. Touched over by Henry Smith. Well, I reckon Joe Jordan would have been incensed had a goal been lost here. Paul Mason going for the short corner, not picked up properly. In came Winnie powerfully with that header. Jess with the outswinger. Now done by Kane. Put away by Miller. Baird did well. Mackay has a chance to come charging forward. Robertson is through the middle. Ferguson trying to join him. That's for Robertson on the turn. That's a good effort, well saved by Snelders. Hearts are the best. Snelders also at his best. Fine play. Mackay coming forward. The understanding was obvious there. Knocking that into space for Robertson for that quick turn and shot. This is Jess. Into the gap it goes for Kane, who's done some good running from that left midfield position. Looking for Grant in the middle. There's Crabb. In goes Irvine. Halehouse nodding it forward for Jess. Can he turn? The offside flag is up. Referee Brian McGinley reacting to his linesman Louis Thau. Must have been a very close decision, that one. Certainly takes the strain off Hearts defensively. Melbourne again, standing firm. Smith's clearance. Jess takes Hobart going through the middle. It's great play by Ian Jess. Now looking for the finish. That was brilliant. A truly magnificent goal by Ian Jess. And Aberdeen supporters celebrate. It's their first goal in the league against Hearts this season. And it's an absolute gem. Magnificent play going forward. Knew exactly what he was doing. Steered that beyond Henry Smith. It's a supreme finish by an outstanding young striker. The defenders closing in rapidly. He kept calm, picked his spot and left Smith helpless. Well, that goal really has been threatened from the beginning of the match from Aberdeen. It looked impressive early on. Hearts battled back into the match in the midway point in the first half. But there's always been a threat up front from Aberdeen, with both Jess and Halehouse well supported from midfield. There's head flick, there's Crabb, he's taken late and high by Winnie. It's a free kick to Hearts. Well, Crabb exchanging some angry words there with Paul Kane, who clearly thought that Crabb made rather a meal of that. So that's who he's directing his comments to, Paul Kane. Hearts looking for a late flurry in the first half. That's the way there by Eoin. With help from also, it's played back quickly by Levine. Kimmy getting up well. Through there for Robertson, and that's a brilliant save by Snelders. Uncertainty there in the Aberdeen defence. They left this to each other defensively, Irvine and Smith, and there was Robertson at his best, and what a fine save it was from Snelders. Still the pressure is on. Scott Crabb. Brett's headed away. And the half-time whistle ends what has been a fascinating opening 45 minutes. Aberdeen getting the better of the exchanges over the piece, and just about value for that goal from Ian Jess in 39 minutes. It may have started with the merest of nudges as the high ball came through, but from that point on, it was sheer class from Jess as he strode through the middle with the deadliest of finishes. That was his 9th goal of the season. It gives Aberdeen the lead and puts Hearts under pressure. It's Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1. Hearts are undefeated in the league this season at Tynecastle. Only 2 league defeats in all, and they will realise, I'm sure, that that proud record here is severely under threat, and the evidence of that excellent first half performance from Aberdeen. The Hearts have shown the resilience many times already this season, coming from behind. And Aberdeen will know to expect a severe early onslaught. There's Derek Ferguson's free kick. Up goes Alan McLaren. And Theo Snelders continues his excellent form for Aberdeen. The orthodox free kick flighted in here by Derek Ferguson. Alan McLaren attacks it extremely well, gets up ahead of 2 defenders, and Snelders clearly in control. Very important phase of the match this, the early period of the second half, and the pattern for the rest of the game may well be established. Here's McKimmie. Now Booth. Looking for McKimmie again, rather ambitious that though, it's cut off well by McKinley. Very determined play that by McKinley, but Irvine finds Jess, that's for Halehouse. Mackay comes backtracking quickly to halt the progress of Halehouse, and the eventual defensive job is done by Dave McPherson. There's Eoin. McLaren's header. Grant getting up well. Derek Ferguson nudging it back. There's Baird. Holding off the challenge from Kane. It's good play on the ground by Baird. Not so well renowned for that. This is Tosh McKinlay. Crabb helps it on. Gary Smith was alert. There's Crabb again. That's good play by Crabb. Trying to find space for the shot at goal. Well, he eventually did so, but failed to trouble Still does well. He's a player of real skill and stealth in attack. Sleight of foot there to go wide of Gary Smith. The arms were flailing there as Crabb again looked for space. Brian Irvin's positioning was good, forcing the shot wide. There's Jess. Forward it goes for Booth. McKinlay mopping up in a very tidy fashion. That's forward for Crabb. Across goes Irvin. Good defending again. Brian Irvin's had a superb match at the heart of that Aberdeen defence this afternoon. Taking over the leadership too from McLeish following his early departure. Mackay and Crabb together for Hearts. Baird at the far post. That's for Robertson. So dangerous in this position. Derek Ferguson playing it in. Crabb trying the first time effort. Grant trying to get the better of Ferguson. He couldn't make it though. It's back with Mackay. This is for Baird. First into the injury it goes. Winnie was the first to react, and it's now Aberdeen on the break with Hillhouse. 2 against 2. Hillhouse attacking McPherson. Good play this by Hillhouse and by McPherson. And the deflection there off Levine. The ball is in the net, and Scott Booth will take the credit. It's a second for Aberdeen. 7th minute of the second half. The fast break by Hillhouse. It looked as though McPherson had halted his progress, but the support play was crucial here from Booth, calling there to Hillhouse for the ball to be played back. It spun off Craig Levine beyond Henry Smith, and Aberdeen suddenly are 2 ahead. Well, Dave McPherson was very upset. He escorted Hillhouse wide, but still Scott Booth wasn't contacted there. It came off the arm of Craig Levine. It could easily have been a penalty kick, I suppose, but Aberdeen don't want to know about that. Mackay helps it on. Looks for the return from Crabb. And that'll be an Aberdeen throw. Well, Hearts have a midfield man, George Wright, and a striker, Ian Ferguson, on the bench. I can't help thinking that we'll see at least one of these players before very long. Hillhouse playing it wide. There's Mason. Got the better of Miller. This is promising again for Aberdeen. And just out of reach, that ball played into the 6-yard box for Jess. Could scarcely have been closer to a third for Aberdeen. Well, Paul Mason not only is skillful, but he's very strong indeed. Holding off John Miller, looked up to assess the options, played that across, and Jess was just out of reach. There's Mackay. Levine has come forward. There's Dave McPherson. McKinlay stepping inside. Good play by McKinlay. And brought down near the corner of the penalty area. The referee waves aside any suggestions of a foul. Would have been, I think, a free kick rather than a penalty. Kane won that to McPherson. The chances on again for Aberdeen. Here's Ian Jess taking on McLaren. Still Jess going all the way himself. That's a great save from Henry Smith. He's carrying menace with every attack, Jess. Gathers the ball so well, assesses the position, goes outside on the McLaren, tests Henry Smith to the full. Good lead by McKimmie. The overhead effort was by Brian Irvin, who's still up there under the attack. McKimmie there to Booth. A dive indicated by referee Brian McGinley. The Aberdeen supporters behind Henry Smith are hopeful there, just for a moment. Here's John Robertson. Checking inside, Baird calling for the ball to the far post area. And it's back from Mason. The ball not kept in by Theo Snilders. It's a corner kick. Clark sending all the big men forward again. Perhaps corner. Headed away by Winnie. This is Gary Mackay, may have a shot himself from here. That's a good effort! And the action's there of Gary Smith saved the day for Aberdeen. That was magnificent defending by Gary Smith. Theo Snilders pulling off an outstanding save here from Gary Mackay's powerful effort, but he couldn't hold it. And just look at the reactions there of Smith, getting in ahead of Ian Baird. Well, that could turn out to be absolutely crucial for Aberdeen, and a savage blow to Hearts in their championship race. Taken by Crabb. Preston helps it on. Mason won that from Robertson inside the box. Concerted pressure here from Hearts. They battle to get back in the game. And Snilders catching that cleanly under pressure from Baird. Here's Paul Mason. Booth on the right touchline. Jess going through the inside right channel, leaving a gap for Mason to exploit going inside, and that's a magnificent goal for Aberdeen. Paul Mason, out for so much of the season through injury, produces his third goal of the season. Now just look at the part played by Ian Jess, dragging Alan McLaren wide, making the space for Mason to go to the right-hand side of Dave McPherson, and the finish was perfection. Just look at that space opened up there by Jess with a run. Mason realised what that was about. McPherson allowed Mason to go there, and that ball passed into the stanchion area by Mason beyond Henry Smith. Mackay across to Ferguson. Well, Mackay with Robertson on the right touchline, looking to deliver an accurate cross. Could get it beyond the first defender though, David Winnie. Hillhouse wins it for Aberdeen. Jess gets a second attempt to find Hillhouse. Mason goes charging through the middle. The pass is played into his path. Jess waits inside. This could be the fourth. It is an incredible play from Aberdeen. The cutting edge of the highest quality. Hillhouse set it up. The pass into the path of Mason. He knew exactly what Jess was doing. Put it in first time. And once again, Henry Smith could do nothing about the finish. Well, Paul Mason made a 50-yard run to become involved in this counter-attack. Jess did likewise, and Hearts had no answer at all. Well, that tells the story of the afternoon. The Hearts scarf flying on the track. And the Hearts supporters now leaving in even greater numbers. Joe Jordan there, I'm sure, cannot believe this. He'll no doubt form the view that it's a blip on the horizon rather than any serious indication of Hearts' frailties. Both. In behind McKinley, this is good play by Booth. Attacking McPherson. Now finding room for the shot. Well, he certainly has an eye for goal, Scott Booth. As soon as he got the better of Tosh McKinley, he had only one thought in his mind, that was to attack Dave McPherson and create a shooting chance for himself. He managed it all right, but couldn't quite get the angle right. There's been a little bit of time to add on for injuries, but I can't imagine the referee will dwell on that too long. Indeed he doesn't. It's an incredible scoreline from Tynecastle. Ian Jess conjured up 2 fine goals out of 4 for Aberdeen. Scott Booth got the second early in the second half. Then Paul Mason produced a gem of his own before Jess completed the scoring. And it was a display of counter-attacking football at its best, with the 3-pronged attack. Scott Booth there, number 9. Ian Jess, number 10. Hans Hillhouse, number 11. Cutting through this Hearts defence for just about the first time in the season. So Aberdeen have made a statement of their own. They're still a force to be reckoned with. For Hearts, it's back to the drawing board. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 4.
And that really is a remarkable scoreline, isn't it, Derek? What do you make of it all? I'll tell you what, Aberdeen have certainly shut up a few of the critics. Alex Smith in particular will be pleased.
Well, I'm pleased for Alex Smith. I mean, he is under pressure. I mean, we can all remember Aberdeen coming from nowhere at the end of last season, and basically it's the same side. I think Aberdeen have had horrific injury problems. There are a few kiddies in there today who did extremely well for him, and he was due a turn. But who would have expected 4-0?
Yeah, let's take a look at those goals, because they are interesting in the sense that they pointed up that Hearts had to chase the game as soon as Aberdeen went ahead through this magnificent goal from Jess.
Well, the skills are unbelievable there. I mean, there's 4 Hearts defenders. I'm sure Joe Jordan will be unhappy with that. You know, he's run from the halfway line over Derek Ferguson, over Davy McPherson, and look at that. I mean, Henry will be a wee bit disappointed when he sees that one from behind the goal. Showed an awful lot of the goaltending, but didn't he take it well? Marvellous goal.
Wonderful finish.
Here's another one, come from a breakaway again. Hearts were on the attack, they're obviously pushing to get the goal. And here's the man that's been in and out the team all season, hasn't shown an awful lot of form, but tremendous stuff. Loves to take on defenders, and how's about that for a finish? A wee bit unfortunate for Craig Levein. I think it came off his hand, possibly it was going wide, but just the pace of Aberdeen going forward, the 3 front men were unbelievable today, and every time they came forward they looked as if they were causing Hearts problems. It all seemed to be through the middle.
I was going to say, you could actually drive an Edinburgh bus down the middle of the defence.
David McPherson was exposed there. I mean, there's no other centre back there. He's been forced to take them on his own there, and there's an awful lot of space inside there when
good decoy run though.
Oh, tremendous. But look, you've got to show him outside. Big Davey will be disappointed. He's letting him go inside towards the middle of the goals, and how's that for a finish? Different class again.
Both from Jess again.
Hearts obviously had to go and chase the game. There's men up there, and they got a little bit of a break there. But look how quickly they're getting men forward, Aberdeen. Okay, when you're 3-0 up, the confidence is there. But this is tremendous running by Jet. Look, the little cut back. He knows where he is exactly. He doesn't have to blast it. A little chip into the back of net. Fabulous goal.
It's ironic, you know, because all this week since Hearts beat Celtic at Parker, all I've been hearing is Hearts are very genuine championship contenders if they weren't before. It's so ironic that they should go down so badly today, isn't it?
They'll be disappointed. I mean, last week they've beaten Celtic well, and the big crowd there at Tynecastle Day. Looking forward to seeing them beating Aberdeen, but it's not to be. Remember, they've played 29 games now. They've had one bad one. I don't think the bubbles burst, but the heads will need to come up for the game against Aberdeen next week.
I'll tell you what, Joe Jordan won't be rushing back to Italy again, will he?